8:30, call the meeting to order. Any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, United States is approved. Motion to approve August regular meeting minutes.
Motion. Second.
Young Brian,
Oh, second.
second by Boone. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. August special meeting minutes. That was the budget meeting. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Doc, second by old Brian. I mean, that's politically.
Well, that's
right,
the way we
Brian,
gotta
young
do it.
Boone, old Brian.
Brian with a Y.
I could say beard Brian, no beard Brian, black Brian, no black Brian,
Make it simple.
obnoxious Brian,
There
nice
you go.
Brian.
There you go.
Young and old works pretty good.
Okay. Motion to, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Time sheets.
Brian looking at maybe this Brian.
Okay. Dan, any?
My only concern, obviously, and Dennis happens to be privy to this, is I send out a deadline, and that deadline is the same every month. And for some of the sheets, it's not important. But for anybody that deals with Stone Garden, anybody that is hourly, I have to have those when it's time to do payroll. Okay, and so that did not happen this last time around. It came in, a lot of them came in 3 or a little over 3 hours late. And I always reach out. Always reach out. And I did that and got no response, so I ran payroll. And you don't need to know this, and it's not important that you know this, but running payroll isn't 2 keystrokes and call it a day. Okay, this is a several hour task. And so when the timesheet came in, I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna be able to pay you your Stone Garden hours this month. They'll be included in this month's blocked out of the option. You still get your regular paycheck because I know what that is. But I don't think it was 2 minutes and my phone was ringing from Dennis, so a call had already been placed to a commissioner that this is wrong and whatever. So, I guess I say it however you want, out of the goodness of my heart. I reran payroll, okay? And so I, for all intents and purposes, wasted 3.5 hours of my life and the work that I have
Because they can't get their stuff.
to start
That's
over.
not right, guys.
And I send this out every month, and you get this stuff because I send it to you too. And it's always in conjunction with our department's meeting when this stuff is due. So if there is a lack of knowledge on this, it's because they refuse to read. It's because it isn't because they haven't been given anything. This is not.
No, I was gonna say, that should take 5 minutes to do that.
Yeah. I don't even know.
One thing about this program, you guys remember the first box?
Oh,
That was the first.
I think that was
It's
expensive.
really just kind of hectic. What he's mastered it, but it's unforgiving. You had to go back and redo it, which that was really good. But I did meet with those guys, and this will not happen again.
Well, okay.
But, so, the clock took about 3 to 4 hours.
So you have manually then.
Yeah, you're going in and you're manually doing this. Really will take time to make sure that all of your productions, okay, and as soon as you put that thing in, I think you're going to put it in. All that stuff is in. And it is hard now. Social service, for better or for worse, and now with the case from the person who changed the salary. Well, they changed their salary, they changed their salary, you want to do your own. Okay, but at least I know that from them, they're on plan for that. Okay, most of the folks are going to, the last time they changed their parents, I think you guys think that all I gotta do is put in 12 hours. No. It's a little bit more complex. So, my only thing is, everything is there, everything is fine, but when I tell them I need to have this stuff by this time, I would appreciate it if they would have just a modicum of respect for those that actually do the work. So when they ask me for stuff, I try and get it to them.
Well, hopefully, let's have a consensus here as to what if we would he just wouldn't have got paid for some of his own card, and he would have got paid the next month.
Yeah.
So it isn't that
It
he
would
loses any
have
money.
been out and he'd have been out
For a month.
But I get it, it's done, but they have to understand that, you know, this deadline, that actually has to mean something.
Well, if that ever happens again, in my mind, you just
Well,
don't pay him.
You don't go back and redo it.
And that's what
No.
they don't understand.
Okay, next issue. Is there windows or something open there? Do we have to listen to that grinding the whole meeting?
There is a window.
Is there a way of? Boone can't multitask. All he'll do is spend time listening to that noise.
You are the one that needs to can't multitask. I'll remember it. Doors, window in the door.
Oh, the window in the door. There we go. All right. Anything else question-wise for the time sheet? I don't think so. Take some time, look at the bills. That's.
They're probably done now.
Yeah.
That'll be about it.
What, I had a question on the bill.
What's that reserve account, 10,000?
Yeah, there we go. That was my question.
It's postage. And we put, in this case, $10,000 in there, and then they probably purchase $2,000 at a time as it's needed to put on the postal meter.
Like the 50 Bose,
Yes.
they use 50 Bose. It's just a credit on the machine.
Yes.
Okay, I had a question.
So the money goes there, and then they take it out as they need it to periodically fill the
Any other questions on the bills? That was my only question. The rest of them are pretty
If you want the printout from Grinster Law.
Oh, yeah. Holy mackerel.
What's that for?
Little pricey for 2 weeks worth of work.
That's 2 weeks.
I didn't even see what you got. What did you get?
7,000.
A good thing we hired somebody.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you.
Well, she's head of she's part of the big ethics committee in the state now.
Curious. Well, Dan will have to work with her more often. I'm sorry.
You're not that sorry. I can tell. Okay. Any other questions on the bills? Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Second by Brian. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Balance sheet now.
Okay. You have a copy of it there, and there is really very, very little that is different or unusual about this. Obviously, you know, the same things that have plagued you in recent months are the same things that plague you to this day. Things are going to change here considerably in the next couple of months, but then following that, obviously, then you start having collections again when you get into December, January, February. But
What is probably different on here, so far, it won't show up on your bottom line is you get to your CD sheet and so on, you see considerably less in CDs. We cashed out a CD in preparation for paying Knife River and so on and so forth, and you'll look on that sheet and you'll see another one that comes at the beginning of next week. Actually, technically it's Sunday, but we'll take that one out. It's $1,044,000. We take that out on Monday, and then that too goes into the general fund in preparation. Those are House Bill 1066, obviously, and those are going to be used to pay for County Highway 5.
So that's gonna come out now,
Yeah, we took out one of them because it came due just a short while ago. And this one, we'll take it out on Monday, and it will just sit in the general fund until we're ready to pay. So you see your CD total was down to 3.3 million. It's going to go down to 2.2 some odd million next week. So that is the most considerable change. That does not change anything on your bottom line until we actually change pay Knife River.
and they probably don't send bill bills, so
I'm sure. But I have to do this now because otherwise it goes back
Right.
in for X number of months and it'll be
Well,
too
that's-
long
yeah,
at that
that's
particular point in time. So that's probably the biggest thing, but, and then when we talk budget later, you know, I haven't directly heard the commentary, but I've heard second-hand information about why is the county up so much? Jeez. Well, we'll talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit later here.
Any
So
comments on that?
Or
County,
taxes.
no one's ready to see.
well, and my guess is, and I'm not trying to diminish, I would guess the vast majority of people, the only line they can truly read on that statement is where it says increase on the right-hand side. They don't understand the stuff in between there, but it is basic math, what it is, so. But, so there's not anything here that is out of the norm. Okay.
And that's what the social
Yeah.
service company.
Any questions? Any other questions on the balance sheet? Okay, Dan, I asked you this last month or one other time. Explain to me social services $1 million balance. Do we hold those funds even though they're theirs?
You get paid twice a year. State of North Dakota pays you, and they, for all intents and purposes, they pay you in advance. And this is all direct costs for social
Right,
services.
right.
All the salaries and
Yeah.
benefits of the employees, and the things that they can pay directly, things that can't be attributed to anything else.
Right.
So if the director is traveling, that's a direct cost. All
Right,
of
right.
those things would be paid out of there. Anything related to the services that they're providing. Now, the space back here, you know,
That's indirect.
that would be indirect.
Right.
Their copy machines are now directly are leased and so on, so that is now a direct cost and things of that nature. So it is it's more complex than you think, and I'm not doing it justice by how I'm explaining it here, but needless to say, they have a budget and all of their salaries, so when they change their salaries, and they've done it 3 times this year, most recently this last month, I asked Madison, I said, are the payments we've received, because we just received one here not too long ago, and it is for the next 6 months. So that $1 million that you see there is gonna be drawn down for the next 6 months. I said, is that enough to cover your payroll now that you've increased salaries? And her response is, I'm not 100% sure, but they, on the state end, believe that it is, so. Okay, and that's fine. They're gonna have to cover the cost regardless, whether they have to give us an additional payment or not, but I don't want to have to borrow so that it can be paid back.
But that balance has been pretty high for like a year. How low does it ever go? It doesn't go very low. It's always 6 figures, isn't it?
It's always 6 figures.
So.
And then you'll get your next payment. You get paid twice a year. I wish I could tell you right off the top of
Well,
my
it
head.
doesn't matter.
I wanna say it's January and July probably, but,
Well, maybe I'm asking a question that's a moot point, but why doesn't someone put a 3-month CD on $500,000 worth of that and correct interest on that $1 million because it's just sitting there? Can we do that?
I'm sure you could.
And then the interest on that money would have to stay in social services. Or would we get it?
Not necessarily.
Because if we get it, then I want to do that. You guys follow me?
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna get that 131,000 back, aren't you, somehow?
Yeah. I'm doing what I can. You see my point. Put 500,000 in 3-month CD. It's, $5,000-6,000 in interest, and then somebody gets that. I don't know the legality of who gets it, but if we get it, that's good because if it's in our bank account, you're just being good stewards of the money, is what my point is.
And you brought up a good point because on the House bill money, so the $1.954 million that we've had that in CDs. And I have to report on that this fall, okay, at the end of
How it was used?
2024, how it was used.
Okay.
And when we receive the money, the only conditions are that it's spent on infrastructure improvements in Wells County, right? Didn't say you have to invest this for a certain amount of time.
No.
So they have a category on the report that is interest accrued. I did not plan to fill that out because frankly, it's none of their damn business.
No. Right.
Okay. All right. We chose to spend it when we chose to spend it. You give it to us for a biennium, which is a 2-year period.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We could have spent it in the first month. We could spend it in the last month.
And they only want
That's
to
our
know
choice.
what the 1.9 million goes for.
Yeah.
The rest of it,
And that's all I will be reporting.
Well, the interest that you could probably pay back to these other counties that are worried about indirect costs.
Well,
money's money.
I know, but
yeah,
I'm just saying,
it makes no difference, and you're right. When it comes time to pay them, whatever they are ultimately owed, it will come from our general fund because that's where indirect money goes, is into our general fund, right? Which we have categories in our ledger for indirect costs, and we use those. And I can go into my software and just type in those categories, and it'll tell me exactly what we've spent. Okay, so those are easy to pull. But when we pay for insurance, whether it's for automobiles for social services or for this building or their capital stuff, that comes out of our general fund. That's not so easy to track, which is why I don't know exactly what we will ultimately owe these counties. It's a much bigger task than state sent this much money, give it to us. No, we've been paying your bills for several years here, which is why this is a way bigger mess than certain people want to believe that it is.
You just hope that over the years, the state has paid us enough to now cover those costs to the other county.
Well,
and it's hard to know, I think.
And Eddy County is easier than Foster County. Why is Eddy County easier? Because they have their own building there. In Foster County, they're in the courthouse.
There's a gray area now.
And so virtually all of their costs, except their salary and benefits, are indirect costs.
Okay.
And it's hard to figure out exactly what those are. I am positive at the end of the day, Carrington's going to expect us to pay the depreciation stuff in the basement of that courthouse for the renovations that they just.
Or the heat for those 2 rooms.
I'm sorry.
How do you figure that?
So
it's not good.
It's gonna be a challenge at best, but I did, speaking of that, I had Madison in yesterday and we went through and visited about, I gave her exactly what I gave you at our last special meeting on the 16th, and we went through that. And she's got another angle she's working on, but I think she walked away understanding what I had showed her. And I asked her to invite me to their meeting at the end of September, and we would continue this conversation.
So, in this indirect costs, okay, the state allows money for that?
Yes, but they only pay 25 cents on the dollar for indirect costs.
Okay, my point is this. Is there an estimated, okay, so each county has has to be paid to these people? Who figures out what these guys are all entitled to?
You submit your expenses year after year after year after year, and they use that as a baseline. And then, based on what I showed you last month, of every dollar that comes
Right.
to Wells County for social services, 16% or thereabouts are for each of those counties, or a little bit more than about, a little over 60% is to Wells County, because we're the host county.
Right, but what I'm getting at though is okay,